Hi everyone, it's Dukwasity Dean, and today we're going to talk just a little bit about the law of navigation. Can I share a little story with you? I love cruising, absolutely love cruising. I love the feel of being on a ship. I love the excitement, the people. I love going to different ports and experiencing different cultures by way of this 1 4-day, 7-day, 8-day cruise. What I love most about being on a cruise, though, is the fact that I don't even have to worry about how we get from destination to destination. Do you know why? Because there is a captain on board the ship who, of course, is charting the course for the cruise line and for the destinations that we should travel to on that cruise. And so it makes cruising easy. It gives me a sense of comfort to know that there's someone else responsible who has charted the course, who is experienced in what they're doing, and I can sleep comfortably at night understanding that I will arrive at each of my destinations safely and soundly. And so, like a captain on a ship, we too need to chart a course for our lives, or a course for our lives. And that's what I refer to as creating a blueprint for your life. A lot of times we talk about setting goals, and we set goals. Sometimes we have them in our heads, sometimes we write them down on paper, and we have our goals all laid out in front of us. But like Tony Robbins said, setting the goal is just the first step. And it is an important step towards achieving the goal, but it is not the only step that you should take if you want to make your goals and your dreams reality. And so we have to chart a course. The law of navigation simply says that anyone can steer the ship, but it actually takes a leader to chart the course. In our John Maxwell philosophy, we talk a lot about self-leadership, because the truth of the matter is, the first person that we must learn to lead is indeed ourselves. Navigation requires certain skills. It requires that we are prepared for the journey. Navigation requires vision. It means that we must know where we're heading. It also requires reflection. And reflection means that we look at the past and we compare experiences and circumstances, situations that may be similar to what we are embarking upon, and use the experience that's documented in order to help us create the best blueprint that we can possibly create for our lives. And so, as you can imagine, when my home was constructed, there was a blueprint. Every aspect of this house was mapped out on paper before the contractor was even allowed to come on the property to lay the first block. There was a foundation, then we had the electricals, we have the AC, we have the plumbing. There are so many components that had to be completely mapped out room to room in order for this fabulous home that I live in to be created. And so as we look at our lives and we look at achieving the goals that we want, and as we look at the big dreams that have been placed inside of our hearts, the reality is we must have a path that we've plotted to get us to our final destination. Having a clearly written out path, and listen to my words very carefully. I'm not saying having clear written goals. I'm saying having a clearly defined path makes the journey easy because we've identified the roads and the steps that we must take in order to get to our final destination. And so in order to properly live the law of navigation, it means that we must plan ahead. And what do I mean by planning ahead? We must first predetermine a course of action that we are going to take. What are we going to do? What does it require? What are the steps? How do we break those steps down? It also means that we must lay out our goals clearly. Our goals cannot be cloudy or murky or muddy. Our goals must be clear so that we're able to see very specifically where we're headed. It also requires that we adjust our priorities. Yes, it means that we sacrifice. What is most important? How do we line up the steps that we take? What is most important? What comes second? What comes third? All of these things must be clearly outlined as a part of our blueprint. We must also notify key personnel because on our journey to making our dreams and goals reality, we're not going to be able to do it all alone. And so as we think about how we want to make an impact in the world or how we want to achieve our goals, we must also think about the key people that we need to notify. We need an accountability partner. We need people with certain skill sets that can add value to our team. And so we must notify the people and get their buy-in in order for them to accompany us along the journey. We must also allow time for acceptance. And this is so important. Because you shared a vision or shared a goal with your team or with your friends or anyone that you're wishing to have a collaboration with, does not mean that they accept it or that they buy into it. Sometimes we have to allow people the opportunity to buy into what we're selling them. We have to make sure that they understand what's in it for them. Sometimes we have to take a backdoor approach and not be so direct in our approach when we look to garner support from individuals to help us accomplish our dreams and our goals. We must also head into action. Now the funny thing is, and it's hilarious, that we write goals. Every year, at the start of the new year, we write our New Year's resolutions. We write them on paper, we look at them periodically, but we take no action. Without action, our goals will not become achievable, nor will our dreams become reality. And so after you've properly laid out your plan, you've laid out the foundation, you've mapped out your electricals, you have all your HVAC all sorted out, you have everything clearly detailed so that you know when you start out on the journey what avenues you'll take. It's very important then that you actually take action. And then we must expect problems. I don't know that we do a good enough job of expecting setbacks, disappointments, and challenges. And in our heads, as we plot out our goals, we look at the success. We realize that as we begin to chase our dreams and as we follow our path, we are all excited about the destination and the journey, that we do not stop to consider the fact that there will be some speed bumps along the way, some hurdles that we have to jump, some high walls that we may need to mount and crawl over. And so as you create your blueprint, it's very important for you to identify what would be some of the potential challenges you'll face along the way and ensure that as a part of your blueprint, you have a course of action to take once you encounter those challenges. You wouldn't want to be faced with a situation and not know how to move past it. Sometimes when we get in those challenging moments, we get stuck. And having a plan to deal with challenges and disappointments and setbacks will give us something to refer to, and it'll allow us to go through another boulevard or another avenue to get back onto the main road. So expect problems. Always point to success. It's easy to get discouraged. I can tell you this as I've gone through this journey of chasing my dreams, and things don't work out the way that I want them to all the time. And I've had colleagues and people that I coach who've also had challenges and situations along the way. And it's easy to get bogged down into the negativity. Why me? Why did this have to happen? Why? And a lot of times we fail to look at the silver lining. And in any situation, there is a silver lining. If you look hard enough, you'll find the silver lining. When we hit those rough spots, it's extremely important that we remind ourselves of our future, of our past success. What went well in the past? What are the things that you and your team accomplished? And as you look back on the past and you see your success, it's going to encourage you to continue on your journey because you realize that your delay is only temporary. And finally, as a part of the mapping out of the process for your dreams and your goals, It's important that you review daily. Daily review your plan. You know, reflection is an important tool towards success. As you sit and reflect on the day's activities, or the week's activities, or even the month or the quarter behind, you're able to identify things that went well. You're able to identify patterns. You're able to identify opportunities for improvement. And so it is with reflection that you're able to tweak your plan, because your plan cannot be so inflexible. It is important that as you create your blueprint, there is some flexibility for you to be able to tweak it here and there as situations allow for that to happen. The reality is no plan is 100% a guarantee. But having a plan towards achieving your dreams and goals will make the journey easier, and it will make it easier for you to actually achieve your dreams and your goals if you have persistence and determination, not to mention passion. Your dreams are in reach. As you can see, the title of today's Facebook Live event is simply, you can have whatever you want if. And that if simply means if you are disciplined, if you are determined, if you take the time to properly create a thorough blueprint for you to follow in order for you to achieve your dreams and your goals. I can tell you it's possible. As we mapped out the Journey for Transition Mentoring Program, it was a 3-year journey, and it took us 1 full year to create a blueprint. And once the blueprint was created, we took off with action, and it allowed our momentum to continue to build and our team to create the measure of success that we wanted to, and to have the impact in the community that we were looking to have. And so, I encourage you to create your blueprint for success. You know, 2018 is just around the corner, and time goes by really, really quickly. We set New Year's resolutions, and honestly, I would like to help you make 2018 your best year ever by not just setting goals, but by helping you to create a blueprint for each of your goals, so that as you head out on the journey of 2018, you'll be better prepared for the road ahead. On November 17th through the 19th, I will be hosting an event called Inspire, Create, Activate. And it's all about helping you map out your plan for 2018. It's going to be an amazing retreat on the island of Long Island, where we will have an amazing time mapping out your success. Please like my page, Duquesa D. Dean, or my Facebook page is Duquesa Dean Group of Companies, and you can find all of the information that you need regarding that seminar there. I promise you, your blueprint is going to be the ticket that will make the difference in 2018. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and have an enjoyable evening and start working on that blueprint. Be blessed.